Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of psycho-cybernetics, a powerful and often overlooked discovery in human psychology. Developed by Dr. Maxwell Maltz, a plastic surgeon turned author and thinker, psycho-cybernetics changed the way we understand ourselves, our behavior, and our potential. This concept reveals that each of us carries an internal blueprint of who we believe ourselves to be, a self-image that influences nearly every decision, action, and outcome in our lives. But here's the shocking part. Most people aren't even aware this blueprint exists. And because of this, they're doomed to mediocrity, unable to break free from limitations they unknowingly place on themselves. Psycho-cybernetics is a discovery that goes beyond traditional psychology. It's a window into the mechanisms of the mind. Dr. Maltz realized that just as machines can be programmed to follow a set path or return to a specific setting, our minds operate in a similar way. If our internal settings are set low, we live within that limited frame, no matter how hard we try to break out. For many, this explains why, despite great effort, they remain stuck, unable to reach the heights they aspire to. So in this video, we're going to uncover why some people are indeed doomed to mediocrity, and more importantly, how you can avoid that fate by rewriting your internal system. We'll explore the two images each of us holds, the one we see in the mirror and the one we see with our internal self-image. We'll also examine how our internal psycho-cybernetic system functions like an autopilot, guiding our thoughts, decisions, and actions towards the self-image we hold. If you often catch yourself acting in ways that don't align with the best version of yourself, and you're aware of it, but just don't know how to break the cycle, then stick around till the end. This video will reveal powerful insights for you to permanently end that never-ending loop. And of course, feel free to subscribe at any point during this video and share it with anyone you think could benefit from this. Psycho-cybernetics at its core suggests that our self-image is the control mechanism of our life. This concept can be compared to the way an airplane operates. Imagine a plane that's been programmed to fly to a specific destination. Once set, the plane will follow its course, automatically adjusting to wind currents, turbulence, and other external factors to stay on track. If the autopilot is set to land in a particular destination, no amount of manual interference can change the destination, unless the autopilot itself is reset. In the same way, our minds have an autopilot, a psycho-cybernetic system that keeps us aligned with our internal self-image and blueprint. Regardless of how much effort we put into changing our actions or habits, we each have two images of ourselves: the external image, which we see in the mirror, and the internal self-image that lives deep within our subconscious mind. The external image is simply our reflection, what we show to the world. But the internal image is much more powerful. It's the way we truly see ourselves on a fundamental level, and it dictates how we behave, what we think we deserve, and how far we believe we can go in life. This internal self-image is often the difference between success and mediocrity. For example, if you see yourself as someone who struggles financially, that internal image will subtly guide your decisions, often steering you towards choices that reinforce that belief, even when better options are available. Think of this internal system as a thermostat. If the thermostat in a room is set to 70 degrees, it'll automatically adjust, activating the heater or the air conditioner to keep the room at that set temperature. Similarly, your psycho-cybernetic system will keep you within the bounds of your self-image, correcting your actions and decisions to align with what you subconsciously believe about yourself. This is why people who achieve rapid success often find themselves returning to old patterns or sabotaging their progress. It's as if their internal thermostat pulls them back to a familiar setting. Now, why don't more people talk about psycho-cybernetics? Why isn't this powerful knowledge at the forefront of self-help and psychology? Part of the reason is that it challenges the mainstream narrative about willpower and motivation. Psycho-cybernetics suggests that effort alone isn't enough. Without a change in self-image, lasting transformation is nearly impossible. This is a controversial notion because it implies that self-improvement requires a shift in our internal programming, not just in our external actions. The truth is, many self-help methods focus on surface-level changes, habits, routines, goal setting, but they don't address the underlying self-image that governs our lives. And so, people make progress, but it's often temporary. They might lose weight, make more money, or improve their relationships, only to find themselves sliding back to where they started because their psycho-cybernetic system remains unchanged. One of the most fascinating aspects of psycho-cybernetics is that it teaches us that we are always acting in accordance with our self-image, whether we realize it or not. If we see ourselves as successful, we naturally gravitate towards success. If we see ourselves as failures, we unconsciously make choices that confirm that belief. This concept shows us that true growth doesn't come from simply trying harder or working more. It comes from reprogramming the internal image that governs our behavior. But here's the good news. Psycho-cybernetics also provides a pathway to change. Dr. Maltz's research revealed that by consciously visualizing ourselves as the person we want to be, we can begin to shift our self-image. Visualization allows us to rehearse new behaviors, attitudes, and responses as if we're living them in real life. By doing this repeatedly, we start to reset our psycho-cybernetic system, much like reprogramming the autopilot of a plane. Over time, our minds begin to accept this new self-image as reality, allowing us to make decisions, take actions, and achieve outcomes that align with it. Another fascinating point about psycho-cybernetics is that it teaches us the importance of forgiveness and letting go of past failures. Many people carry with them a self-image scarred by past mistakes, regrets, and criticisms, which limits their ability to move forward. By practicing self-forgiveness and creating a new internal narrative, we can release ourselves from these old patterns and open up to new possibilities. Dr. Maltz discovered that when people forgive themselves, they experience a sense of freedom that allows them to operate from a place of possibility rather than limitation. Psycho-cybernetics also emphasizes the power of mental rehearsal. Just as athletes visualize their success before a big game, we can mentally rehearse the person we want to be and the life we want to live. This mental rehearsal strengthens our internal self-image, aligning it with our goals and desires. When we begin to see ourselves as capable, worthy, and deserving of success, our psycho-cybernetic system naturally guides us to behaviors and actions that reinforce this new identity. Think about the goals you've chased in the past, the ones that didn't pan out. Do you see a pattern? Is there a common thread that ties all those failures together? Now, if you find yourself blaming circumstances or certain people, ask yourself, why did I allow those circumstances or people to stick around in my life for so long? Sure, you might come up with surface-level justifications, but if you dig deeper, you might uncover something uncomfortable, something about your own blueprint that led you there, over and over again, even when you tried to steer clear of it. Psycho-cybernetics is all about understanding ourselves, the inner mechanics that shape our lives. Imagine this. Would you open a few windows in your home to cool it down in the middle of winter when you could just adjust the thermostat? Sure, you might do it once or twice for fresh air, but you wouldn't make it a regular solution. Yet, this is exactly what we do with our lives, fiddling with external factors like people and circumstances, hoping they'll magically change things for us. But the truth? The real thermostat for your life is your internal blueprint. See the connection? Sometimes, yes, the people around us hold us back, but we're the ones who keep them there. Why? Because they resonate with something inside us, something that our blueprint is aligned with, whether we realize it or not. That's where psycho-cybernetics comes in, helping us understand why we allow things, people, or situations that don't serve us to stick around, often far longer than they should. The notion that changing external factors will somehow fix our internal world is a mindset we need to cancel as quickly as possible. Dive into Maxwell Maltz's work, and you'll see why we hold on to things, people, and habits that don't serve us, don't deserve us, or sometimes even harm us, despite knowing better. And here's the beauty. as you begin to change your internal blueprint, something remarkable happens. Life starts aligning in ways that feel almost magical, maybe even supernatural. But in reality, it's just science at work. The science of reshaping your mind to finally reflect the life you want. So, to summarize, Psycho-Cybernetics is about understanding that our internal self-image is the control center of our lives. Like an autopilot, it keeps us aligned with who we believe we are, steering our decisions, actions, and thoughts in a way that reinforces that belief. We each carry two images, the one we show to the world and the one that lives deep within our subconscious, silently directing our lives. And just like a machine with a programmed destination, we will continue to arrive at outcomes that match this internal setting, unless we take conscious steps to change it. We also have to accept that correction is part of the journey to our final destination. Just like an airplane under cybernetic control, it will make thousands of tiny course adjustments along the way. Yet it still arrives exactly where the pilot programmed it to go. The lesson here is to do the same with our lives as the pilot does for the plane. Once we set our destination using the incredible tools of Psycho-Cybernetics, we can trust that our internal system will find the best route, even if it's different from the one we initially imagined. The key is to let go and allow this powerful internal mechanism to guide us. If we interfere too much, we risk derailing ourselves, reverting to the same old patterns dictated by a faulty internal blueprint. Think about it. If pilots know their autopilot isn't working correctly, they wouldn't rely on it to steer them safely. So why do we allow a flawed internal autopilot to steer our own lives? Sometimes we have to place our trust in a higher power or a deeper wisdom within us, especially when our repeated efforts haven't worked. When we allow ourselves to learn from these moments, we begin to rewire our internal autopilot, guiding us closer to the life we truly want. Let Psycho-Cybernetics reshape that inner blueprint, one correction at a time, until we're finally on the path to mastering our own destiny. By becoming aware of our self-image and using tools like visualization, self-forgiveness, and mental rehearsal, we can begin to shift our Psycho-Cybernetic settings. This isn't just self-help. It's a deeper level of personal transformation, one that taps into the very mechanisms that drive our behavior. For those willing to explore this concept, Psycho-Cybernetics offers a pathway out of mediocrity and into a life of fulfillment and achievement. As we wrap up, remember this: your self-image isn't set in stone. It's a construct, a collection of beliefs and experiences that you can change. Join us in our next video, where we'll dive into an incredibly effective process for changing the beliefs that no longer serve you, which can liberate you from constantly getting those unwanted results you just can't stand anymore, but haven't yet figured out how to eliminate from your life. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so now and help us bring this powerful information to more people so they too can break free from the limitations of their flawed psycho-cybernetic programming.